Some post-apocalyptic movies show people still fighting for a future. These movies feel much darker than that. They show worlds where humanity is already hanging by a thread, hope is almost gone, and survival feels more like the final stage of collapse than a real second chance. And the best part is that every title in this ranking is available now on streaming or digital platforms, depending on your region. From dead landscapes and broken societies to desperate survivors and worlds with almost no future left, these are 10 post-apocalyptic movies where humanity was already doomed. Number 10. I Think We're Alone. Now, this is one of the quietest movies on the list, but that silence is exactly what makes it feel so disturbing. The world is not just damaged here. It feels abandoned, emptied out, and emotionally dead. Instead of showing huge destruction or non-stop violence, the film focuses on what it means to exist after humanity has already been erased from normal life. That is why it fits this ranking. It does not feel like people are rebuilding. It feels like the world has already moved past them. The loneliness becomes its own kind of horror, and every new human connection feels unstable rather than hopeful. This is not a story about the beginning of the end. It is about what remains after the end already won, and that gives the whole movie a cold, doomed feeling. Number 9. Finch. This movie may be more emotional and reflective than brutal, but it still belongs here because the world it shows is already beyond saving. Civilization is gone, the environment is hostile, and ordinary life has become impossible. What makes it work for this ranking is that the apocalypse is not treated like something that might still be fixed. That phase is over. Humanity has already lost, and the story is really about surviving inside the ruins of that defeat. There is sadness in every part of this film, because even the small moments of warmth exist inside a world that has no real path back. That is why it hits. Beneath the softer surface, this is still a movie about the final stage of collapse, where survival is reduced to routine, memory, and trying to hold on to purpose after the human future has already burned out. Number 8. The Colony. This is a strong pick for the ranking because it does not just show a damaged planet. It shows a civilization that already crossed the line and cannot undo what it did. The world in this movie feels like the consequence of human failure made permanent. Environmental catastrophe, social collapse, and the decay of moral order all feed into that larger sense that humanity is no longer steering its own fate. That is what gives the film its power. Even when characters are still fighting, the larger picture feels grim and nearly hopeless. The movie is not asking whether things can go wrong. It is showing what happens after they already did. That is why it fits the title so well. The future is no longer something bright and open. It feels damaged at the root, like humanity has already used up its last real chance. Number 7. Hostile. This one deserves a place on the list because it mixes survival, loneliness, and a ruined world into something that feels genuinely hopeless. The landscape is destroyed, danger is constant, and the film carries the heavy feeling that whatever civilization once existed is not coming back. What makes it fit the ranking is that the world here does not feel broken in a temporary way. It feels finished. Even the emotional core of the movie is shaped by loss, trauma, and the sense that humanity has already fallen into its final form. That is what makes it more than just a survival story. It is about moving through a dead future where every step feels like it comes after the point of rescue. The apocalypse is not recent anymore. It is the air these characters breathe, and that gives the movie a strong, doomed humanity atmosphere. Number 6. Cargo. This movie is one of the most emotional entries on the list, but it still hits hard because the world it shows already feels lost. Infection has spread, communities are reduced to fragile pockets, and normal life is gone in any meaningful sense. What makes this film so effective is that it does not pretend there is some larger solution just around the corner. The story is intimate, but the world around it tells you everything. Humanity is deep into collapse, and the future is no longer something anyone can count on. That is why it fits this title so well. The desperation is not theatrical. It is personal, painful, and constant. This is not a race to save civilization. It is a struggle to protect one small piece of life in a world where civilization has already failed, and that makes the entire film feel heartbreakingly doomed. Number 5. The Day. This is where the ranking starts getting truly brutal. The world in this movie is already so stripped down and vicious that survival itself feels like proof humanity has fallen almost beyond recognition. There is no illusion of order left, no sense that functioning society is hiding just over the next hill, and no real optimism anywhere in the story. That is exactly why it belongs this high. The film presents a future where people are no longer living after the apocalypse in any meaningful human way. They are enduring it. Every encounter feels hostile, every shelter feels temporary, and every decision carries the weight of a species in terminal decline. What makes the movie work so well is its harshness. It does not give you inspiring resilience. It gives you the ugly impression that humanity has already passed the point where survival and salvation mean the same thing. Number 4. The Book of Eli. This movie fits the ranking beautifully because the world it presents feels spiritually, morally, and physically exhausted. The apocalypse here did not just destroy buildings and cities. It hollowed out civilization itself. What remains is a wasteland full of violence, scarcity, and people trying to cling to power in the ruins of a dead world. That is what makes it hit harder than a lot of post-apocalyptic films. Humanity here does not feel wounded. It feels degraded. The movie keeps reminding you that what was lost may be bigger than food, safety, or technology. It may be the entire moral structure that held people together in the first place. That is why it belongs near the top. This is not a world trying to heal. It is a world stumbling through the ashes of a future that already collapsed long before the story began. Number 3. Snowpiercer. This movie earns its place near the top because it shows one of the clearest visions of humanity reduced to a dying system after the world has already ended. The frozen earth outside is catastrophic enough, but the real brilliance of the film is how it turns the last surviving structure of human life into something rotten, cruel, and unsustainable. That is why it fits the title so perfectly. Humanity is technically still alive, but it is surviving inside a machine built on inequality, suffering, and decay. That is not hope. That is managed doom. The future here feels closed off, trapped on rails, and spiritually dead. Even before anything explodes, the movie gives you the sense that the species has already lost something essential. This is post-apocalyptic cinema at its sharpest, because it understands that survival alone does not mean humanity has actually been saved. Number 2. Children of Men. This is one of the most powerful films ever made for a title like this, because it takes the idea of doom and makes it feel biological, social, and existential all at once. Humanity in this world is not just struggling, it is running out. No children have been born for years, society is collapsing from the inside, and every institution feels like it is waiting for death rather than resisting it. That is why this movie belongs so high. It does not just show a ruined world, it shows a species facing extinction while pretending it can still function. The despair is everywhere, in politics, in the streets, in the treatment of people, and in the total absence of a believable future. It is one of the clearest examples of a movie where the apocalypse is not an event. It is the slow recognition that humanity was already doomed. Number 1. The Road. This is the purest and most devastating version of the rankings idea. The world here is not wounded. It is dying. Nature is collapsing. Civilization is gone. Human morality is eroding, and the future feels almost completely extinguished. What makes this movie the perfect number one is that it never pretends there is still some hidden path toward recovery. There are no real signs of rebuilding, no larger resistance, no inspiring sense that the species might somehow turn this around. Everything about the film says the same thing. Humanity is in its last stage. That is what makes it so haunting. The danger is not just starvation, violence, or the ash-covered landscape. It is the feeling that the world has already ended in every way that matters, and the characters are simply walking through the remains. This is not survival with hope. It is survival after hope has almost completely died. So now the question is simple. Which of these movies felt the most hopeless to you? And which one showed the clearest version of a world where humanity had already lost? Write it in the comments. And if you want more post-apocalyptic, survival, and end-of-the-world rankings built around dark atmosphere and total collapse, subscribe now because there are more brutal lists coming.